Very warm welcome. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. I'm your host, Edmond Kizito. On Spectrum tonight, what explains the new wave of murders and high-tech crime now common in Kampala and its surroundings? There is a growing concern about the spate of murder and robbery cases being reported every day in Kampala City and its neighboring districts. The cases range from gangs attacking and mugging and suspecting pedestrians, armed robberies resulting into bloody shootouts, and targeted killings, among others. This state of affairs was rampant before the VCCU, that's the Violent Crime Crack Unit, was put in place, which led to a reduction in such crimes. In order to maintain peace and security, the Ugandan police launched the Community Policing Initiative, which has been credited with a lot of success. Many people are now wondering what can explain the new resurgence of crime under the watchful eye of the police, village security committees, and other agencies. The word in town is that some of the criminals who are armed are conniving with some rogue elements within the security forces, especially the police and private security firms, through whom they acquire guns and later share the loot. Police has denied this, shifting the blame to the judiciary and lawyers who release notorious criminals on bail. There is also concern about poor gun control in the country, as many people carry firearms illegally, while those owned legally cannot be accounted for or even monitored as envisaged under the Police Act. Some people have even suggested that this could be a new wave of terrorism wearing different clothes. So tonight we'll look at what could be behind the new wave of crime and what those tasked with keeping law and order are doing about it. Our guests tonight, Mr. Ladislaus Rwakafuzi, Advocate of the High Court with a bias to human rights. You're most welcome, Mr. Rwakafuzi.
Thank you.
We expect to be joined by Andrew Felix Kawesi, Commander, that's Assistant Inspector of Police, Andrew Felix Kawesi, Commander of the Kampala Metropolitan Police. We believe he's on his way to this place. Mr. Rwakafuzi, can you try to explain to us why you think we're seeing a renewed wave of crime? Some people think criminals get a short sentence.
No, not really. You see, I think the reasons are many. They are very, very many. Some of them which come to mind immediately is the nature, the structure of our law, the criminal law itself. What happens today when you are suspected of having committed an offense like armed robbery? That offense is only triable by the High Court. But the High Court will not get cognizance of this offense. In other words, will not have power to try it unless and until the DPP has committed that accused person to the High Court for trial. Now, the problem with this committal process, first of all, the Constitution has said committal must be done within 6 months, otherwise a person should be granted automatic bail. Now, what happens is that the DPP, first of all, being poorly resourced in terms of both human and the logistical resources, the DPP is not able to sieve through most of these files, many of these files which require urgent attention, which require committal. And what happens is that these people, they are lucky enough that they are not committed for trial to the High Court, and 6 months expire, and these people, the magistrates courts release them, and they release hardcore criminals. Now, I have said this for a very long time, and I'll say it again on air. We need to abolish committal proceedings. When a person is charged with a criminal offense like robbery or any offense tried by the High Court, their file should be immediately allocated to a judge. So, the judge, instead of these sessions, trial by sessions should end. This file should be allocated to a judge. The judge will study this file, which will force even the DPP and the police, you see, to work on that particular file and submit the relevant evidence as soon as practicable. Now, the problem with the committal proceedings is that this file remains in limbo. And the magistrate's court, before whom this suspected robber keeps appearing in the first 6 months, has no jurisdiction to try this person, has no jurisdiction to release him, so it's a terrible thing. You take a person to a wrong court which has no jurisdiction to try him for these months. Now, also, what has been happening is that these people know how to delay these people, these hardcore criminals, they know very well how to delay their what? Their corretto. So that you see, they after 6 months, they will be committed. Most of these people will be committed after 6 months. They get released by the magistrate's courts. Once they are released, their files are almost closed. Because you see, first of all, there is a problem. There is a disconnection between the High Court and the Magistrates Court and the DPP. There is a very big disconnection. When these people are not committed for trial, then they are released by the Magistrates Courts. The Magistrates Courts stop. Their jurisdiction is over now, over these people. It's supposed to be the High Court. Now, what happens is that even if the DPP decides to have these people committed, these people have already been released on automatic bail. Now, automatic bail does not require stringent conditions. Right. Because even if he has no sureties, such a person will be released. You see? So, now, these hardcore criminals only know how to find a way of not being committed for trial. And when I tell you, I won't say it on air again, that committed today is negotiated. I'm very sorry. I do not want to involve anybody in this matter. But committed today is negotiated. You see? There are many people who would be committed, but they negotiated their way out. And they grant up to 6 months. After 6 months,
files get lost.
Exactly. So the file may be there, but you see, whenever you release a person, you have got him committing a robbery on a Masaka highway. You get him here. And when you're giving him down, no stringent conditions, no sureties, no what. How are you going to get him again? Exactly. Seeing these people, they continue committing crimes. So one thing we must do away with is committed proceedings. Committed proceedings have also been a very unjust way of doing things. And I know the president has been saying that let us make sure many of these offences are not bailable, such that you say, once you are charged with such an offense, for hearing says, before the expiry of 6 months, no bail and that kind of thing. But of course, you see, there's a danger in that one, because also there are some people who can be victimized. Yes, it can be abused. Of course, it has been abused. Because you see, if a person wants, for example, there's the defilement matters, when they were very rampant at one time. If a person wants your land, your neighbors, all he has to say is that you have defilement my daughter. You see, you have spent a minimum of 6 months. Meanwhile, the file is not moving at all, and the matter ends there. But then, what you have suffered, what you have gone through.
You lost 6 months.
Exactly. You see, the reasons are many. And my friend has come, the police officer, and
we'll go into them. We'll go
to him. So I've talked about community proceedings. Yes. Then I want also talk about community policing.
We'll talk about community policing. Later, I would like us to get deeper into the community proceedings. Yeah. First of all, do you think if they committed, like you say, they committed all this work to the judges, shall we have justice? Do we have enough judges?
Well, I think we don't have the judges. We don't have enough judges. You see, this suggestion I'm making it, but I know it will not work because the judges are not there. So for example, in the criminal division, we have only 4 judges here at the High Court. We have only 4.
What's the ideal number?
The ideal number in the criminal division alone, we need 12 judges.
12 judges.
You see, we need 12 judges. Actually, we need 40 more judges than we have today. And remember, every year, at least 2 judges retire. So now I'm only talking about judges of the High Court. Right. We have not talked about an appeal or Supreme Court, right. And we have not talked about the lower courts. Yes. So all these courts are not had enough.
Okay, we'll get into the details of that. It's
Yes.
a chronic problem that's been there. It's perennial as well. Listeners, this is Spectrum on Radio 1 tonight. What explains the new wave of murders and high-tech crime now common in Kampala and its surroundings? Our guest, Mr. Ladislaus Rwakafuzi, advocate of the High Court with a bias to human rights. We've just heard from him. We've just been joined by our second guest, Assistant Inspector of Police Andrew Felix Kawesi, Commander of the Kampala Metropolitan Police. You're most welcome, Mr. Kawesi.
Thank you, sir.
Why are we seeing a renewed wave of crime?
Well, first of all, I thank you for inviting me, and good evening, listeners. I welcome my friend Rwakafuzi, who I found when he was trying to really enumerate a lot of issues concerning the topic we are discussing. Yes, there has been an upsurge on violent crime, especially murders. There are quite a number of incidents that have taken place, and the analysis we have really through the analysis we've really looked at a number of issues. One is the court itself, which the land friend has said, and then we look at the, in any country which is really undergoing rapid economic development, crime goes high in most cases.
Yeah.
Most of these cities that have developed have undergone through what we are going through today, because there's a lot of economic development, there's a lot of cash inflows, there's a lot of investment, so we find these ones very common. But what does it entail? What message does it send? It really calls for a lot of efforts and the commitment on the law enforcement machinery, and which really the law and order sector, justice and law order sector, which is a complete cycle, the police, the judiciary, the prisons, to work together in the synergy to ensure that this is properly addressed before it gets out of hand. South Africa, taking an example, Johannesburg, some years back, it was really almost taken over by the criminals. But recently, you find the crime rate has gone down because of an assertion on this, or a purge on the criminals. So that is one. Number two, we've had most of these criminals who had been committed and they are serving in these prisons have come back. And obviously when they come back, they don't take new ways of life. They embark on what they were doing.
They know best.
What they know best. And actually some confess, they say, for us, this is our profession. Three, we also have a lot of firearms in circulation. I think there has been, I don't know how far they have gone, the law on private firearms and control firearms. Yes, the police is in the responsible to license and regulate the flow of firearms in the public, but that's not enough. The law itself is weak. Is weak, and those are the areas that really need to be addressed, because quite a number of cases we found that it is either firearms from the private security organizations, firearms from private individuals, and also the proliferation of firearms in the region. We just had a war in South Sudan. You have a war in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia. These are all breeding places that have had an impact on the inflow of firearms here. So when they find groups which were originally in the criminal activities, they actually get access to these firearms and they enrich terror on the public. Then you look at also the, like Wembley did. You see, Wembley, people are saying, why don't we have a Wembley-like operations?
Once again.
Yeah, but everything has got a time, come at a time, and has got its own implications. Today we've got really a badge of human rights activists everywhere.
Yes.
Even keeping a suspect beyond 48 hours is an issue. And if you really exchange, if you shoot to kill a gang of robbers, not actually in a crossfire, you have issues to explain. So these are all issues we look at, and you find it's a bit challenging. Then the public itself, there's a culture which is coming up, which we have not been having around. People move with really a lot of cash. It's a cash economy, and people, but the transactions are in cash. People keep a lot of money in their homes, and the criminals know. I remember this money, people have not got it through legitimate means. They don't want to keep them in the banking, the financial institutions. They keep the money in their homes. You find a person keeping above 50 million in the home, in the car, 100 millions. So that's quite challenging. And they come, once they find no resistance, they kill you, take the money. Then there are issues related to land. Land has become a very, very price property. Nobody wants to own land, so you kill Rwakafuzi, get rid of him, and then get the property and sell it. Family related issues and all this. So this is a combination of many factors. But what do you take here? And the police. There are too many things which Councillor Rwakafuzi was trying to point out. Actually, the issue of community policing. Community policing built on neighborhood watch and built on an integrated system that involves police owner security. You are an individual at your home. You look out for your own property, and then you have to integrate with the security system. That is the police, the local leaders, and really have it as a shared good, as a first line shared good. As you think of food or think of anything, you look at security as a priority. That is something we need to build at the police, and we have worked on it. Our Inspector General of Police is here at the forefront on this, building this, but still it is lacking. People think community policing is listening to what police is telling you and all that. They don't see the role themselves they must play. Secondly, we are also building our intelligence section units, which are going to be a bit, we had the rapid response unit, RRU, and it was disbanded. But we have reorganized it. We are getting those really who are not necessarily bad, and we are reorganizing them into new units and giving them specific mission to accomplish on this. The good thing, some of these criminal gangs are known. They are the same people who had taken the area you had almost finished and taken to Ruzira. They are back, and they are going to war again because they are profiled. Some of them are profiled. It's a cycle.
What's the normal term that's given to this criminal? How many years do they get? 7 years?
Well, the others get 7, depending. Others get 10, but with remission you serve like 5 or less.
What's the ideal in your view?
Ideal, the most of them went in around 2005.
What should they give him? 20 years or what in your view?
No, majority are given 7, 12.
According to you as a police, what should they give them?
Well, what I think council mentioned, if you have been a serial criminal, then the judge should have really the best to look at your criminal record and be able to determine his judgment as sentence basing on that.
Right.
it should not be seen. If you are a first offender, then that's a different story. But you've served before as a robber. You come back. Next time they go back as a robber. Then why don't we prefer a deterrent, more deterrent sentence than that? Maybe they serve life.
All right. Honorable Rwakafuzi, Council Rwakafuzi.
Yes, please.
Why do you, and I know you're a human rights activist, why do you people sometimes, or why do they sometimes oppose operations such as the VCCU, or should we have it back? And what do you say about long sentences?
This VCCU thing, we should look at it from its historical context. You know, VCCU came immediately after the elections of 2001. Now, what had happened then, you know how that election, how the state machinery used thuggery to make sure that they get the votes. See, this is a fact. And you see, you look at the judgments, all the 7 judgments of the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Now, this thuggery, you know, let me tell you, it has consequences. Now, they had to rein in these thugs who had become a law into themselves because they had helped, you know, in these elections. So they had, because they were running out of hand, you know. So they had
after the elections, according to what he's saying.
Yes,
they went into crime.
They went into crime. Yes, because they said they had a license.
And they had
yes, they said they had a license because they had used the thuggery. By the way, if you ask your child to go and steal, you say don't think that is going to be the end of it. So that's what had happened. Now they had to use. They had set up VCCU, and it was very effective because they knew the people. They know those people because they knew the people they had used it. So it was very easy, you see. But today, even if you set it up, today we need real intelligence. You see, we need real intelligence because in those days they would arrest real people.
People they need.
Yes, they would get them. And they know that so-and-so has been a thug, so-and-so has been a thug, has been netted. But today, they tell you how so-and-so has been killed. You see? Now, then after a week, another Hajj. Another week, there's another person. And that kind of thing. This is not, you see, this was based on raw power. You see, the use of raw power, you know? Raw force. You get these people, slash them thoroughly, you know, that kind of thing. But now
you need intelligence.
We need the real intelligence. Because these people, yes, because we need brain power. And our police, does it have the brain power? Has it been empowered? You see? I'm telling you, there are consequences if you fail to pay your people. Our police is very poorly paid. Our judiciary is also very poorly paid. You see, jealous. Justice and other sector. These are the gatekeepers of the state. These are the gatekeepers of the state. If you pretend to pay them, they also pretend to work. And I can assure you, it has real dire consequences. As I have been telling you, for example, I can tell you, these committal proceedings, a committal itself is negotiated. There are thugs who will be committed for trial.
And they negotiate with judicial officers.
Not judicial officers, because the judiciary does not.
They negotiate with policemen.
They
investigate.
Exactly, and so forth. So that they are not committed for trial. You know, this happens. I've seen it.
Because they're badly paid.
Exactly, and that kind of thing. So, but there's something else, my learned friend here.
Maybe when we come back, when we come back, we'll pick it from there. Do stay tuned. This is Spectrum on Radio 1.
Okay.
So unbelievable na yatenga vya dala tekibadde ize yadde nakamo bendera waggulu bulaka tuli beautiful yero wakasana kafenga kasufu ready brotherhood eyatero wetugatta
Tuchakale with Airtel today and celebrate 50 years of independence. Get up to 100% bonus to call across all networks. That's not all. Stand a chance to win a motorbike daily and a car every week. Simply top up every day. Get up to 100% bonus. Dial *162#. Press yes or OK. Start the 50 years independence celebration of Uganda today with Tuchakale from Airtel.
John, Mike and I, we go back a bit. We knew John at the beginning, working for someone else. But he was different. He had vision, saw opportunities. He started working towards his goal, opened his own garage, and worked, learning the hard way. His reputation spread. Trust, consistency, quality. Soon people were coming to him from all parts. He made himself and his whole street prosper, and also helped friends, seeing potential in people and helping them on. But John never shouts about all his success. He is just who he is. Special.
So here's to men like John, who make a difference, who enjoy Nile Special, the rich, satisfying taste from the source. Nile Special. You've earned it.
Not for sale to persons under 18.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90.
Welcome back on Spectrum. Tonight, what explains the new wave of murders and high-tech crime now common in Kampala and its surroundings? Our guest tonight, Assistant Inspector of Police.
General Police.
Pardon me. Assistant Inspector General of Police, Andrew Felix Kawesi, Commander of the Kampala Metropolitan Police, and Mr. Ladislaus Rwakafuzi, well-known lawyer. He's an advocate of the High Court with a bias to human rights. You will be able to contribute to this discussion at some stage. Mr. Rwakafuzi, you will still say, developing a point about how robbers get away with it many times.
Yeah, I've already talked about the committal proceedings, which has become a loophole through which these people get their freedom without even facing any trial or accountability. But I want also to say something, because I don't know how much time we have. This something which has been on my mind for a very long time.
Yes.
And this is the law of inquest. Now, the law of inquest is on our statute books. I think since the 30s or 40s, it has been there. The law of inquest says the death of any person under natural circumstances must be investigated. And the magistrate in that area, the area of jurisdiction where the death has taken place, the magistrate is a coroner. You see? Yes. Now, if you look at how many inquests have we held now? We have not held any inquests almost since independence. We may not have held more than 10 inquests. This was a law which colonialists used at the letter. Any death of any person in natural circumstances had to be investigated. Actually, even the old people will tell you that once a death happened, you are not supposed to touch anything there. You're supposed to inform the police. That was common practice. But now today, what do you have? A death is reported to the police. The police say, look here, we have no transport to come to that place. Can you facilitate us? We are not able. Go and bury. Now, they go and bury. No inquest, no what. And now, what happens is that you have given crime a chance to continue taking place. And this thing is happening even here. There are many deaths which should have been inquired into. Because when you talk of community policing is a no-catch word.
Yes.
But you see, the real community policing was inquest. An inquest meant that, you see, in the yard of say 30 square
meters
around it. You round up everybody and say, okay, tell us what you saw. And these days, let me tell you, whenever there is a crime, now I've seen it on TV, someone comes and says, I saw this happened. I saw this is what happened. But people, it just ends there. And yet, really, if it was the law and it is being implemented, the law of inquest, it can go a long way. Because once you involve the people at that material time to say what they saw, there's a lot that can be revealed. But now what happens is that we cannot do anything. Right. They just go and bury, they are dead, and it ends there. So inquest is a very, very important thing. I've been to court personally. I have filed for some inquest, and there's a man who was killed in Jat in Kololo.
Yes, joint.
Yes, that was around 7th November 2007. The date, that very day the Queen came here for Chogam. That man was killed And now, when he was killed, he was called Said Taya. When he was picked from the taxi park here, he was a general trader, just a poor man. They picked him, took him to Jat, beat him the whole night. The following day, they took him to Mulago. So from Mulago, he died. Now, when he died, the army came and put him in uniform, put his body in uniform, so they disposed of him as if he was one of them. But he was that man. But later, the hospital was able to release the what?
The details.
The details of the death. You see? So now, we went to court, applied for an order of inquest. The judge gave the Minister of Internal Affairs 90 days within which to appoint a coroner. That was around February 2009. The coroner was not appointed. The 90 days expired. We went so many places. We went to Minister of Justice, that kind of thing. Because you see, the Attorney General is the one in charge of these things. Is the one supposed to link up legally to all the ministries. So it was ignored completely. Then immediately after the 2011 elections, we went to court and said, look here, if the Kirinda Kivejinja is not appointing a coroner, there should be an order from court say that he is guilty of contempt of court, and is not fit to hold any office. Yes, he's not fit to hold any office. He saw the pleadings. Within 3 days, I had appointed a coroner. Right. You see? Now, after appointing a coroner, they never even mentioned that retired Justice Murray had been appointed a coroner. He has never even been informed up to today. So that thing, we have been even to justice, to this here, like, he's a very arrogant man. He says he will not do anything about it. Now, we are going to the East African Court of Justice. This thing, we are not going to leave it lying there. But anyway, what I'm going to say is that the law is, the coroner has left it here.
And it's not being used.
It's not being used. If we use it, some of these murders which are taking place,
okay,
something will be done.
Okay, I would like you to respond to that, but briefly talk to us also as well about community policing, how effective it has been, and do you think the end of the LRA rebellion could have fed some of this people into the capital and fed into crime?
Thank you so much. Community policing, it's just a philosophy that is built on involving the communities to build a security system that really guarantees their security, and they do it in partnership with the state law enforcement agencies, especially the police. It is a new program. It's not been here for quite long. It could be maybe now coming to 20 years ever since it was introduced, and it has done a lot of achievement. It has first of all, it has demystified the police being really in the ivory tower in terms of being the law enforcers, and people look at them at the common life, and that really alone is very fundamental. Because those days to even come near a police officer, it was something not common. Although it had also its own challenges. Two, community policing involves the communities. Mandates the community to demand for accountability. Once they have given information and the police has not really worked on that information, then they are able to demand for accountability from on the side of the state law enforcement agencies, and that alone makes the police also get out of
because you see, maybe Brother Kawesi here, he's a senior police officer, and I know he's very well intentioned. But is he convincing us? Does he want to convince us that the people today are closer to the police than they were before?
Yes, far.
How closer? And that's military uniform looks very bad. It is very hard.
Council, let me educate you on this. And I think I've heard this.
It's very hard.
Let me say on this.
It complicates matters for the.
You need to change uniform as soon as possible. Let me tell you.
I think you are looking at the form. There's no looking at the form.
That's how I have used
resistance. The resistance is that uniform. By the way, it's not a military uniform. That done white and blue. That is peace. It is worn by all the. No, you see, we have quite a lot of uniforms, and they are for different.
That's uniform.
You see, the police whatever just move around. You have to go to the neighbor in here, Khartoum. Kenya actually has green.
Yeah, green
camouflage
for police. Yes.
Yes. For their public force unit, it put on green. Ours is pure police. If you go to most of these Arab world, countries,
the history of the military.
Exactly. The uniform is just a form.
Let's look at Edmond.
Yes.
Uniform cannot be a form because our constitution clearly says that the military shall be subservient to civil authority. So you cannot get a military uniform and give it to the civilians. Because you see, it kills the constitutional spirit.
Council, get it from me. Do more research. The uniform.
I'm telling you, you are not doing something. Let me educate you. It is not educating you.
It's not a military uniform. It's a police uniform.
I am a
member. By the way, before we get any shade,
do you have any research
to use it for as our uniform?
Yeah.
We do research.
Mr. Kawesi,
what other countries put on? This is the
Mr.
uniform
Kawesi,
which is commonly put on in peace missions.
Mr. Kawesi,
where our officers participate.
Mr. Kawesi,
and I'm surprised that the council. No.
That is not what I'm trying to say. And since you started wearing that uniform, have you done any research as to what the public feels? Let me tell you a story. Just a few months back, 2-3 months back, they called me from my village, my home village. They said, we have been attacked by the army. I said, why? What is the problem? They described the army. They came in a military uniform. That's how they described it.
Yes.
Then, and they were on their vehicle, UP. That's when I realized it was what? Police. You see, that's why
I'm saying that it is incumbent upon us to really educate.
It's not necessary.
Uniform. The uniform, that's why I call it a form. The my conduct in that uniform there gives the difference between my role as a police officer and a military officer. You get it? And even as a matter of fact, the military, the Ugandan military today is very close to the people. So they cannot No. Look at the relationship, the civil military relationship today in Uganda. And it's very close and very good. So we cannot talk about the police today and the police yesterday.
Edmond,
and you see that people
the uniform has two words.
Yes.
Unit and form.
Unit is one.
Unit is one, then form. So that you see, when you have the same form, it is said that you are in uniform because you have the same form. Now, if there's a civilian force like the police uses the same form with the military, then there is no distinction. There is no distinction from the point of view of what your role is, you see, and what your end is. Because, sincerely speaking, why of all uniforms you had to get the police, the military?
I think you are doing much on this issue. This is a very simple matter.
But
you can do it. I have done this, and first of all, put on record. It is a police uniform. These are police colors, and because they don't have any green camouflage, it is totally police colors. It is blue it is white.
All right.
And that's all the police
Provide
colors
reports
internationally.
that police is going to change to drop some of the uniforms.
No, there are not reports. These uniforms are actually they are done by different units of the police.
There stops being uniform means
It depends what function you are doing at that particular time. You get me? The traffic police in white is uniform as a traffic police. You get me? You can't have everybody put on white because not all of us conduct traffic duties.
Yes.
You get it? So when we have a public management issues, situations, when you have the camouflage, because this camouflage is basically for public order management.
Let's hear from the listeners. This is Spectrum on Radio 1 tonight. What explains the new wave of murders and high-tech crime now common in Kampala and its surroundings? You can call in. Our number 0414 348 111 0312 260 390 0312 261 390. Can you call in? Please tell us your name and where you're calling from, and switch off your radio or walk some distance from it.
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name?
Yeah, good evening. Continue.
Spectrum, hello? Yes, sir, your name?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, your name?
My name is Felix.
All right, Spectrum, hello? Good evening, sir, your name? Can you put louder, please? Your name again? Hello? Hello? Yes, sir, your name? Come again? Joshua, go on. Spectrum, hello? Hello? Yes? You're live on air. Your name?
My name is Robert.
Yes, Robert. What time is Spectrum, hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir, your name? He did explain that. Mr. Kawesi.
Well, I thank all the callers. They have all alluded to one thing, that crime is upsurging and there is need for really serious intervention. And I would say this: we need to really work together as the law enforcement agencies and the whole criminal justice system. It's not only the police. You hear people are not happy when they see the suspects being released soon after being arrested. They are not happy. They think the police corrupted and all this. They think the police would have taken them to court and convicted them. Sometimes they don't even have the information how the criminal justice system works. But this is something serious coming up. It should be really pick an interest of all the stakeholders and say this must end. And we take a lead, but we must be supported by the courts. Quite a number of times we get frustrated also. There are many cases where you find you've done your best and all this, but what happens? A week on remand, let's say following week the criminal is out. What do? You can't get him on the street and kill him because that Rwakafuzi again will be on your head.
Yes.
Secondly, the issue of that the police they have deviated from law enforcement, they could be handling any other things. Yes, it's not a deviation. It is that we have also experienced policing challenges which were not there before. The society is quite charged on a number of issues. We find a road is dusty, the people want to go and demonstrate. You get here, you hear the leaders, they are breaking into office like today. I saw this issue of no. You see, the two issues were the issue was very clear. Police wanted some evidence in this office, so and put marked it as a scene of crime.
The police had been in charge of the office for a very long time before that order was gotten.
No.
They had been in that office for a very long time before that order.
First of all, before
more than a month
before this one,
they had access to that office.
There were no issues that constituted a complaint. But after they came up, police now started investigating.
Who is the complainant?
Well, the KCC authority raised the issues.
You see, who has lost his land, and now that office has to be. The
complaints and about 455. That's the respect. And the other police preserved the scene.
All right, let's talk about something else.
And when we came to that, so when police came in, and today was sorted out very clear because the police went in and got whatever they wanted.
And you left.
You left. We left, and that's what we are.
You obeyed the court order finally.
You get it? We have to obey it. We have always obeyed. And by the way, we are the one who enforce the court orders.
Well,
despite even obeying it, we enforce it.
Do you think policemen, of course, that's a moot point. They're not well paid. Wembley criminals, do you think?
Well, I think the issue of payment, I don't think it has a bearing. Yes, as anybody who is really public servant, you would need to get some welfare, basic welfare, that to keep you moving on.
Yes.
But it goes, I don't think even those who are well paid are doing the best public service.
So you don't think it's a monopoly?
So it is a combination of
No, I don't want to go to the salary. So it seems the pay is commensurate to the amount of work that can be done. So then it will give them their money.
If you were to pay a police officer or a military officer for the service they do,
yes,
I can tell you end up only paying the police.
Oh,
because I don't rest. I work 24 hours. If you have to really turn into it monetary terms,
it will be difficult.
Yeah, it will be difficult.
Let's look at them. I don't think the cycle, the wheelers turn full cycle. They're back on the streets now.
Well, as I said earlier on, that some of them who had been convicted are back. They have served. They are back, and they have resumed.
You know, the people who worked with you under Wembley.
No, I don't think those. We were getting actually intelligence information from those who knew who they are, and it helped us.
What converted? But then the man is saying you released them, and now they're back to crime.
I can say we don't release them. They serve. They are back.
They served their sentences.
They served. Quite a lot of them.
He's talking about the men who worked with you, hardcore criminals who reformed, worked Wembley with a Wembley jacket. Then the Wembley operation ended, and they have no job, so they went to work.
Well, that's what I mentioned. That some of them they have been surfacing and coming into other units who have been formed since. From Wembley, we went into other units up to the recent disbanded RRU, and quite a number of these people were also in these units.
They still work with you?
Yes, they still work with us, and they are being paid. They earn salary. Some of them have been regularized. I think the issue is we need to get to know the core, the bottom. The core of this problem. And
logistical support, you see.
No. And logistical support by the council. The logistical support is not a problem.
It's not a problem. Let me tell you.
Logistical support in terms of tools of service, tools of work.
Have no fuel.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Assistant Inspector General Police Andrew Felix Kawesi, Commander of the Kampala Metropolitan Police, thank you for coming tonight. Mr. Ladislaus Rwakafuzi, Advocate of the High Court with the bias to human rights. Thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Edmond Kizito. Spectrum will be back tomorrow. Up next is the news.
Thank you.
You can pay, you can buy, pay your bills, pay school fees, send cash overseas, pay taxi fees, and salaries, anything you need.
You can do anything with MTN Mobile Money, and now for the first time in Uganda.
You are the very, very good law that you